My mom, she loved to dance. I remember dance parties in the kitchen to Elvis blaring on our little radio throughout the house. I learned to do the twist with the best of them. My mom also taught me other dance moves. The one I remember most often is the withdraw and flee. Maybe you're familiar with that kind of dance move as well. When I was bad, which happened often, or life got overwhelming for my mom, which also happened often for a single mom raising two kids trying to make ends meet, my mom would withdraw. She would withdraw her love, her heart, her words, and I was formed in that environment. I learned to do the dance moves that my mom taught me. My dance of come close. Oh, you stepped on my toes. I'm just going to sit this dance out. See, I told you. Nobody stays. You just go find a new dance partner. Everyone who loves me leaves me. Rinse, repeat. This was the pattern of life that I lived by. It was my relationship rhythm, and I knew the dance very well. As a mom of four, growing in intimacy with Jesus, my dance didn't work with him. He kept inviting me back on the dance floor. He showed me what a good dance partner is like. He taught me relational moves that allowed me to open my heart to friendships. What had served me, had protected my heart in the past, had to be brought to Jesus. His love had to be allowed to melt the walls of my own heart. He had to teach me what healthy relationships are all about. And that, my beloved, is what we are diving into this week in this week's episode of our Rhythms of Renewal series on the Mom to Mom Mentoring podcast. Hey, friend, welcome back. And if this is your first time listening, I am so glad you found us. I'm your host, Misty Hughes, and this is Mom to Mom Mentoring. I'm a wife, a mom of four, Grammy of 6 amazing human beings, a women's renewal life and leadership coach, and founder of the Rhythm of Life framework, where I help high-achieving moms like you discover what is most important to you and your family. Define the obstacles that keep you from living the life that you desire and that you're promised in the Word of God. I help you develop a system that works for your unique season of life and display the glory of God through a life of love. And this is a special 4-part series podcast called Rhythms of Renewal, where we are trading survival mode for spirit-led living, one rhythm at a time. This helps you return to the pace of peace and purpose that God designed you for so that you can shine. If you're new here, go ahead and hit follow on your podcast app before we get started, because for the next few weeks, we are walking through these rhythms that move us from exhausted survival mode into peace, joy, and purpose again. Over the last few weeks in this Rhythms of Renewal series, we've touched on rhythms of rest and rhythms of restoration. You might want to press pause on this one and head back to the previous episodes, which are foundational for where we are going in the next few weeks. Beloved, you cannot experience the rhythm of renewal if you are relationally depleted. And many of us, self included, often try to fix relationships while our own souls are still exhausted. AKA, we need rest. And rest is actually the gateway into restoration. When I got married back in 2020, after being single, raising a family on my own for over 20 years, I discovered a lot about the way I was dancing relationally that needed to change. My husband and I read a book called Hold Me Tight. It was recommended to us by our premarital counselor. Author and psychologist Sue Johnson challenged us in this book to name the dance we were doing in our marriage. Example she gave in this naming exercise was freeze and flee, protest polka, pursue and withdraw. Well, you get the idea. Instead of managing and fixing relationships, we were invited just to notice and reflect on our relationship patterns. And that's what I have you do so much of in this Rhythms of Renewal series. We're not about fixing anything. No, Jesus is the fixer. He is the master builder. We are all about noticing and inviting him to make the change in us. And here's what I knew, but I've began to see even more clearly through the reading of this book and through my own coaching women in their journey. Every single relationship that you have, marriage, your friendships, your relationship with your kids, coworkers, church community, family of origin, all of those relationships, they operate on a rhythm. And most of you have not taken the time or reflection and therefore have no idea what rhythm you bring into the room. You don't just do those dances in your marriage, although oftentimes the marriage relationship is the one that is most glaring, where we are confronted with our dance moves on a daily basis. But, beloved, you do these dance moves, you operate in this rhythm everywhere. Some of you are overgivers. Some of you withdraw. You fix, you avoid, you perform, you please, you shut down, you multitask. You say yes when you mean no. And here is the important part. Remember, many of those rhythms were formed when you were young. They helped you survive. There is no shame in the relational rhythm that you have developed. It likely kept your heart safe when you did not feel seen, heard, secure, or understood. But I would like to ask that you pause and listen to this invitation from Jesus out of Matthew 11. Come to me, get away with me, and you will recover your life. I'll show you how to take a real rest. Walk with me and work with me. Watch how I do it. Learn the unforced rhythms of grace. Did you catch that? He doesn't invite you to try harder in your relationships. He doesn't say, go fix it. He invites you into a different way of relating. And it starts by coming to him, getting away with him, walking and working with him, and watching him. Hey, real quick before we go on, if you're finding yourself thinking, wow, I didn't realize how much I needed this conversation, make sure you hit the follow button on Mom to Mom Mentoring, because each week in this series, I'm helping you move out of survival mode and into spirit-led living, one rhythm at a time. Okay, let's keep going. Now, you might be someone who says, Misty, I talk to people all the time. I know this relationship thing. Relationships super important to me. I share what's going on in my life. I've got my tribe. I'm honest about what I'm walking through. And still, you might feel unseen, because there is a difference between talking about what's going on in your life and letting someone be with you. Most of us don't actually struggle with sharing information. We struggle with being known, and yet it's the deepest desire we have. We share what's happened, we share what we think about it, but rarely do we let someone sit with us in what it's doing to us. This week, I want you to begin noticing something very specific, not just what you say in relationships, not just that you're showing up for relationships, but what level are you sharing from? Okay, hang with me here. There are actually four levels of relational presence. Level one, information, schedules, logistics, what we're doing, when we're doing it, what happened, how it happened, updates. Level two is opinion, what you think about it, your take, your interpretation. Level three, emotion, naming sadness, the feelings, the joy, the fear, the frustration, even disappointment. And level four is need, admitting, I don't know what to do. I feel alone. I need help. I'm overwhelmed. I can't do this on my own. Most of us share at level one and two, information and opinion. Occasionally, we might touch level three. This is how I feel. But level four, that's where we stop being strong, having it all together, and we actually allow someone to sit with us. That, my friend, is where restoration begins. Here's what I'd like for you to maybe consider practicing this week. In one conversation with someone safe, try moving one level deeper. Instead of, it's been a hard week, you might say something like, I've been feeling overwhelmed this week. And honestly, I don't know how to get out of this cycle of overwhelm. Or, I don't need you to fix this, but I do need someone to sit with me in this sorrow or in this sadness. Notice what happens in your body when you share at a deeper level, naming your feelings and inviting someone to be with you without fixing it. That's the beginning of a new relational rhythm. You see, renewal begins when awareness begins. You may have never even realized that you've been sharing your life without even letting someone carry it with you. And that awareness alone can begin to change the way that you show up. That is learning a new dance step. And beloved, if you're tired of gaining more information and you are actually ready to start pursuing transformation, this is exactly what we will be doing together in my upcoming 12-week cohort. I am going to invite you into a sacred space where you will have the opportunity to slow down long enough to begin to recognize the patterns. We will reflect on where they came from, and we will begin building rhythms that bring you life instead of depletion. If you want to be a part of my next cohort, I'd love for you to get on the wait list. Everyone on the wait list will receive a $50 discount. You can grab that link in the show notes. And if you are ready to begin noticing your relational rhythm and reflecting on it, please download the free Rhythms of Renewal mini guidebook. There are simple journaling prompts inside that you can take into your quiet time. If there's one thing I am inviting you to take away from today's episode, it's this: your relationships are not just shaped by what other people do, they are shaped by the rhythm that you bring into the room. And when you begin to notice that rhythm, you can begin to choose a different step and bring a rhythm of life into your relationships. Now, if you're not already part of my Mom to Mom Mentoring Facebook group, come join us. We will be continuing this conversation throughout the week. And don't forget to hit follow on your podcast app for Mom to Mom Mentoring, because next week we're going to talk about reimagining, thinking about what is possible once you stop performing strength in every relationship. Because when your relational rhythms begin to change, your vision for what is possible begins to develop and unfold right before your eyes. Renewal is not only about healing the past, but it is about allowing God to give you his vision for the life you are created to live. We are trading our survival mode for spirit-led living, one rhythm at a time. Last week, we talked about how rest opens the door and restoration begins the healing. But the relationship, well, that is where renewal becomes visible. Because when you begin to relate to God and the people that are close to you from a place of safety instead of survival, everything changes. Remember, Jesus doesn't just call you to try harder in your relationships. He invites you into a different way of relating. When you allow God to renew your relationship rhythms, when you receive his restoration, when you step out of survival mode and into spirit-led living, you give other women permission to do the same. You shine and show up differently. And beloved, when you shine, you give others permission to shine too. If this episode has encouraged you, would you share it with one friend who might need relational renewal right now? And leaving a review helps more kingdom-minded moms find the space and the message that will strengthen and encourage their hearts as well. Until next time, beloved, may you notice how you show up in relationships. May you courageously bring that awareness to Jesus. And may you begin to experience the unforced rhythms of grace he has for you. This is Misty, and you've been listening to Mom Mentoring. Now, go shine.